Hello everybody and welcome. First of all, congratulations on downloading a copy of my book, Selling is Out, Create Buying. It's been highly popular. You'll get a lot of value from it. If you haven't done so yet, just head over to a link below this video and I'll give you a free ebook there. In this particular video, I'm going to walk you through the 6 most common misconceptions and myths that professional and financial services people have that keeps them from being successful in business development. The first one here is, on the back, is number 1. People should come to me. In my years of working with all sorts of professional and financial services people, I noticed that they kind of have in their mind the fact that they've trained so much, they educated themselves, they're really excellent authorities within their field of work, and they kind of come from a perception that because they're so good, people should just come and find them and come and seek their advice. And guess what? That is really nice and true that you might be the best person in your field and you might have all the awards and accolades behind you. But guess what? People nowadays, they don't give you know what. Why? Because there's so many other people there that they talk to, come across, meet at functions, are connected to by friends and relatives and so on. And there's so much choice. There's too much choice for people that are just shopping around for somebody that can provide a service or a product at a fair price for them. And so if you really keep thinking that people should come and see you, guess what? It's going to actually potentially harm your business. From a business development perspective, I think the one thing that you can do instead is think, where can I position myself and where can I come in contact with the right type of people that I know that I can help with my expertise and give them an opportunity to kind of start a relationship with yourself and your firm. That probably would be the sort of angle that I would suggest you to come from. The second myth that I'd like to debunk is the next one here. New business will come through referrals. So a lot of people that I see, they are looking to build their business based on referrals. And of course, we know that when people refer somebody to you, that it's easy business. You can easily convert a referral, a warm referral from somebody that they already know and trust into business for you. However, when is the last time when you actually consistently had enough referrals to keep your billable hours at the absolute maximum, and the same for your team? Based on referrals, you might here and there have sporadically a referral to come through, but you cannot plan for it. You cannot rest assured that they will come in consistently at the time when you've got the capacity for delivery. Therefore, referrals is really just a nice bonus, but it's not a successful strategy to grow a business in a very helpful way. Next one is number 3. New business will come through networking. Now, it's all well and true that we take time to go to functions where we can meet and greet new people, where we can swap business cards, and if provided we have a good reasons to do so, that we follow up with a coffee meeting afterwards. That's all fine. But what I do see a lot happening in the professional and financial services industries is that people will go to functions and they will keep shaking hands with the same people. Have you ever gone to a place and you bump into somebody and you start talking, and before you know, the function is done and you've maybe said hello to 2 people that you already knew in the first place. Now, then that was your business development activity that was just about rekindling with existing relationships. That is not business development. Business development is building strategic relationships in a systematic way to enable a constant flow of quality leads that you then convert into sales. And that is very different. So once again, going to networking functions, just rocking up in itself won't do it. There's a certain system to make sure that networking actually pays off. And I'll touch on that one in my business development success system later on. Next one, in terms of the myths that we want to debunk together here, is number 4. I don't want to sell. I see so many people in the professional and financial services circuit to kind of cringe just by the mere thought of them selling, because they got these negative connotations about used car salesmen, and we all have them, and we all kind of got burned, and we all have been exposed to people who weren't operating with integrity and who weren't really looking after our personal needs first. But guess what? If you think about, hey, I don't want to come across as a salesman, so I won't ask for the business, or I've already presented my offer and my quote, and now it's up to them to come back to me, that will hold you back from business development success, guaranteed. In Australia and even around the world, it has been measured scientifically speaking that 80% of business just evaporates due to a lack of follow-up. A follow-up meaning once you have an opportunity that is qualified and you've presented your solution to them, if you then don't follow up and follow through until it's converted into business, or at least you have an answer that says, you know what, we didn't go ahead with you. If you don't follow through, that business will go with a high likelihood somewhere else. Why? Because it's our job as people, when they put their trust and faith into us, by walking us through their particular circumstances, the difficulties and issues that they have, because they want to get a solution and they are considering getting the solution from you, well, then it's our job. It's our mission. We are being of service to these people by doing the follow-up and the follow-through until we got a fruitful end for their sake. Not for our sake, for their sake. It's about, again, kind of adjusting our mental framework inside. It's about us coming to terms with the idea that if we really want to help them to get the best solution that we can provide them, well, we need to help them feel comfortable about taking on the solution and making the decision around it. So whether that will be your product or service or somebody else's, it's our job to help them find what it is they want and then help them to take it on in a way that makes them feel comfortable. Next one, number 5, is a misconception where people say, I am who I am, take it or leave it, which means they kind of come from an avenue where they say, look, I don't want to kind of change my ways. I don't want to kind of adjust and modify my approach. You know, this is who I am. And they just come from a very static perception about humans, that they just are who they are and they never will change. But guess what? I don't know, last time I checked, when I went to university, the person that went in and the person that came out 7 years later was a very different person. Why? Because the professors and all the people that I was exposed to made me change my thinking. They've added to my skill sets. They've challenged me in some of my perceptions, and they gave me access to a whole world of knowledge and experience during that 7-year time frame. So we do change, and guess what? It's our vested interest to change because the economy changes constantly. The sociological and demographic characteristics of the population changes constantly. Technology changes constantly. Customer expectations change constantly. So unless we change along with it, we will be left behind. And therefore, it's my job to help you see that you cannot just rest on your laurels. It's really important that we continuously develop ourselves and continuously make an investment in shaping up our mind. You know, we say that mindset is 85% of success in any field and including in business development. Then the 15% is the knowledge and skill sets that we need to constantly, of course, update and upgrade. And so take it or leave it is not really the right way. Particularly in my next video of this particular series, I'll touch on the number 1 skill that business development professionals can adopt and refine over time. And as they do, that skill will lay them golden eggs forever because it's a vital skill that accounts for business development success. I'll touch on that one later. Clients are only concerned with price. Let me ask you for a moment. When is the last time when somebody said no to you and they went with somebody else and you thought it was because of price? You thought that you were too dear and somebody else was undercutting you. I hear this all the time. You're not alone, right? Everybody that I speak to, sooner or later, has the fallout with a particular prospect that doesn't become a client, or even otherwise has an existing client going somewhere else, and they again believe that price was the reason why they went across to someone else. Guess what? In my experience, in working with people in 16 countries, in all sorts of industries, and I can say to you, this has been thousands and thousands of people, right? 16 countries to date, where I have been on the ground working with these people, and personally where I also have one business in all 16 countries. I can guarantee you that price is only 1 out of 7 different factors, and it typically is not number 1. It typically is number 5, 6, or 7, with a few exceptions where some clients are effectively price shoppers. But our misconception is by thinking that all clients are price shoppers, and that shows you that we are not necessarily looking at building value. See, most clients really are concerned about receiving the most amount of value for the best price possible. Now that's a different thing than saying the cheapest price. Value is really where it all comes down to. And so in order to convey value in your service and product offer, there's a certain system and a method to help people see it, recognize it, and wanting to have it instead of just looking at shopping around for the cheapest price. That's obviously a whole new ballgame. Once again, in my business development success system, I teach people exactly on how to build value from a psychological perspective. My background is in psychology, yes. I've studied 7 years at university and trained with a master's degree in it. And so the world of psychology is really an interesting one because you can look at it from a business development perspective, what you need to do to make people buy in, or you can also look at the psychology of buyers, meaning what's the buyer psychology? What is happening on the inside for them to kind of see the light bulb moment? They kind of see that the price is really minimal compared to the value. That is always what we're trying to achieve. Establish that the price is much lower than the value that people are getting. As long as you do that, price is not an issue. And too many people fail to see that and actually build up towards that. Let's now go on to the last myth that I'd like to debunk with you today, which is number 7. If I just work hard and do the right thing by my clients, it'll work out. My business will flourish, I will become wealthy and happy and all of that sort of stuff, happy days. Guess what? One thing that I've learned in working in my own business for the last more than 10 years is that working hard is not a recipe for success. Working smart is a very different one. I'll touch in some of my next videos on how we can work smarter. Equally, I also like you to think about that your business model is kind of geared for success, while other business models are actually inherently, by default, misframed. I'll give you a quick example. The first time when I went into a business, I bought a franchise. And that franchise, for example, was well set up for the franchisor and the person who created all the IP behind it. But for a franchisee's perspective, it was not the great business. Why? Because every time when I facilitated training programs, I would have to buy the product from the franchisor who then paid the author a fee for doing it. The second thing is then there was franchise fees potentially that were accruing monthly on top of the franchise fee to get established, which was $100,000 at the time. Now, if you see this is a lot of money to earn back, and the customer ultimately pays for it. Now, coming back to this, I found myself always kind of chasing my tail, always looking for the next sale because there was no recurring in it. Now remember, again, the author of the programs that I bought every single month, he was getting paid for work that he had done years and years and years before, and he didn't have to do anything. Now that was smart. He had the smarts, I didn't. I learned my lesson. So this is just one little example to show you that your business model, you really need to question yourself if that business model has got the right legs to stand on for you and your clients. Because if it doesn't, you probably want to re-engineer the system so that it actually can accumulate and help you scale up in a way that you see fit. Then we are putting the smarts into our business model And once again, in terms of mindset and skill sets, I'll teach you a few more in the next few videos. Now, if you like this video, first of all, give me a thumbs up. Secondly, subscribe to my channel. And third, make sure the notifications are turned on so that you always are alerted to the next bit of content that I'm making available for you. Also, I want to give you a heads up in terms of what's next. The next video, I'm going to walk you through the #1 skill that from a business development perspective will lay you golden eggs forever. I look forward to seeing you there. My name is Bram Lagrou. Once again, I'll see you soon.